All right, so once my reds are done, then I'm going to go ahead and do her skin. And for her skin, I'm going to go fairly light. I'm starting with my E00. And I'm going to do her legs and her arms first, and then her face. Because they're all separate sections, I can do them separately. And if I colored in and kind of gave a base coat to everything first, by the time I got back around, like to her face, if I started with her legs, then the face would be dry, and it's a little bit harder to blend when it's dry. Okay. So now I'm going in with a medium color here, and actually on my skin I'm just going to do just 2 colors, and so this would be my medium or my dark, whatever you want to call it. And this is E11. I'm just kind of flicking that color in along the edges here. To give her some shading. And then I'm going to come back in with my lighter color, E00, and blend those together. Now you've probably realized that if you're flicking that color on, it starts that blend for you already, so it's a little bit easier to blend. There's not as much work. Okay? I actually flicked on the outside of the legs towards the center, but then I did sort of a hard line on the inside of that leg. So that takes a little bit more work to actually blend. Okay? All right, so now her legs and her arms are blended. Lighten that up just a little bit. And now I'm going to go in and do her face, which again, E00. Didn't need to put that away. And for this one, I'm going to give her light hair. So I'm not actually going to color over her hair. And if I'm going to color her hair dark, I'll actually just color her whole head with the earth tone. Okay? I'm going to give her sort of a light color hair, so I don't want to do that. All right, now I'm going to add some shadows to her face with the E11. Flick those in. The longer the flick, sort of the more light to dark you get, so it's a little bit easier to blend those and still keep that contrast. Okay, so now I'm going back in with my light, my E00, and I'm blending. Now this side of the face really blended really well. This side I have to work on just a little bit more. That's okay. And I actually am going to add just a little bit more of that dark and kind of flick that back. And then come in and blend out again. And I do like to, once I played around with it a little bit, I do like to let it dry a little and then kind of come back in and see what it looks like, because once it dries, it does look a little bit different. Okay, once the paper dries and once the ink actually fully blends, it does look a little bit different. So be patient, let it dry. You can always come back in and color it later or fix it later. Okay. All right, so I've colored her skin. Now I'm going to color her hair. I'm going to start with a Y21, and I'm just kind of giving her little streaks of blonde. And this hair is always so different to color. And then, let's see. I don't want to go too orangey, so I'm testing my colors down here. That's pretty good. So this is Y3. 3-5. And I'm really just kind of giving it some strokes to kind of give it some streak marks to look like hair, you know, leaving those streak marks in there. And since that's our part and that would be the darkest, hair's always darkest at the roots, especially for those of us that color it. Okay. And darken up that hair. Okay, so just doing good so far. I do need to come back and work on that face a little bit more, get that blended out a little bit more. So I'm going to come in with my E00, my base color, and I'm really just going to kind of flick and blend that just a little bit more on this side. Okay? Much better. For cheeks, I do like my R02 for my cheeks. So I'm going to give her a little bit of a cheek here. And that one's almost hidden there. Cheeks are hard to do upside down. Yeah, that one got too close to her mouth. Okay, so if I want to fix that cheek, I'm actually going to go in with colorless and I'm just flicking. I don't want to get it too light, because I am going to have to go over this. There, I got it mostly gone. I am going to have to go over that and add the face color back in, but I want to let it dry. Okay, so we're going to just go with this cheek, give her one cheek. Okay, and I want to soften that just a little bit, so I'm going to come in with my lightest skin color and just kind of go over it. And that really blends it out. Okay, and once this is dry, and I like to use my body heat to let that dry a little bit. Once that's dry, I can go back in and smooth everything out. Her skin is done. Her skin is not done. What's my secret weapon? Cannot forget my secret weapon, the BV00. Give her that hint of living color. And for this one, I have to turn this upside down for me, or for you. Give her that little bit of that drop shadow or cast shadow. Okay. Even along the side of her face there where that heart is. Whatever blocks the light from her face is going to get one of those shadows. Her dress blocks the light from her legs, and her shoe straps block the light from the top of her feet. Okay. All right, so I've added those shadows.